Hello again, everyone, and welcome to what is quite possibly the most intriguing and most infuriating track on the Midwest F2 calendar. It is the Suzuka International Racing Course. Now, this 5.8-kilometer circuit features 18 corners and one lone DRS zone, which is the one only figure eight configuration in F2. The biggest challenge for these F2 contenders today will be keeping it clean through the Sector 1 S's. And man, I've made an absolute hash of my opening spiel just then, but it does seem a slight cloudy day here in Suzuka. 30 seconds to go before we start our qualifying runs. Now, I tell you what, I have never had. I think I've won one event race at this track, and I tell you what, this has never been kind to me. And that was with a custom setup, and these drivers with presets here today expect to see perhaps some carnage. This track very much under consideration to be on next year's schedule, but it's going to depend how the league thinks the racing goes here today. Well, we're about to get underway with qualifying. So, time has lapsed here. We're on board with Dusty Lusky. That's a pretty good choice. Track map enabled, DRS activated, to the line you go, and you're starting your time now. So, this first couple of corners here, turns 1 and 2, it's kind of a prolonged braking zone then. It's never really a straightforward brake. You kind of ride the brake throughout the whole section of course. And then through the S's now, you've got to be very tricky and very careful with your throttle management here, and also your upshifting and your downshifting. You can play it to your advantage and perhaps your disadvantage as well if you're not careful. Rounding, this is turn number 6 and 7 now, up the hill through 7. This is a very tough one here. You can't always take it flat unless you're on a higher downforce setup, but he's done quite nicely now. Down into turns 8 and 9. Pretty straightforward here. Take up as much of the inside curve as you can. Dusty's doing quite a nice job at this moment in time. Into, this isn't the spoon. No, this is turn 10 and 11 here. Kind of a banked corner, actually. You can take it from high to low and then back to high again. As Dusty Lusky doing that. I tell you what, the lap isn't actually all that incredible from Dusty Lusky right now. He seems to be slightly struggling as he makes his way now through turn 12 up to, I believe this is like the spoon or something they call this, turn 13 and 14. Hit the curb on the exit, and the apex actually. Keep the line nice and clean down this back straight now, in towards turn 15, or I think this is called 130R or something like that. This track does have corner names, I'm just not quite sure what they are, as the league visits this track so little, actually. It hasn't been visited in the past couple of years in real life F1. Into the final chicane now, turn 16, 17, and then finally 18. I tell you what, he's handled it quite well. To the line he's going to go now. I don't necessarily expect this to be a pole lap. It is A-dub on pole position with a 140, 156, and that has actually done in the next closest competitor by, I believe, at least 4/10 of a second then. As we see, Shariah Coleslaw has gone 10th. Good news for him. So A-dub on pole, Lancey in second, Jackson Altman the reserve in third, El Majacco fourth, Dirty Boy Jackson fifth. El Majacco getting that upper hand on his championship rival at this moment in time. Killer XL in sixth, Cake Thomas seventh, Nicky 64 eighth, Josh Senior ninth, Shariah Coleslaw 10th, 11th is Dusty Lusky, 12th is Ray 46, 13th Bobber Yates, 14th Mandigos, 15th Villeneuve, 16th Mayo Demaro, 17th Spaceman, 18th Valentine, and then rounding out the field, P19 TTV Dutchman, who this will be, I believe, his full-time F2 debut here tonight with that Carlin team, as Erect is no longer able to continue here. So, with that being said, we've got A-dub on pole. Certainly entering this championship battle as well is A-dub. If we look at the standings at this moment in time, currently A-dub back to El Majacco in third. So Dirty Boy Jackson has championship lead at the moment, 170 to 154 to 128. Dirty Boy Jackson, Jacko, and A-dub. Cake Thomas, Shariah Coleslaw a little bit further behind, 119. But all still very attainable, and it looks like a nice and sunny day. Partly cloudy then for the Suzuka circuit. Should be a great one here today. I'm confident of that. This track, I tell you what, is very, very tricky to drive. Very much an old school style F1 circuit, and that definitely makes for some interesting battles nonetheless, and perhaps some carnage. I'm hoping not, but you never know. Still hoping and praying that to this day this is not the race where we're going to need the 50% rule for safety cars. I'm really hoping not. That would kind of be a shame. The closest we got was Canada last season for the reverse points grid race. We were about 1 or 2 laps shy. I've not actually managed to bring any water up with me. Oh, I'm toasted now. As the field takes its time, 30 seconds to go now. Getting into the Japanese Grand Prix, and mind you, this next week, F2 heads to none other than the Bahrain International Circuit, and then off to Miami the week after. So, a couple very good races on tap for you here in these next couple of weeks of F2. 5 seconds to go now before the lights start turning on here at Suzuka. We should have a very hotly contested Grand Prix here today, edging towards the halfway mark of the season. The lights now coming on here. 4 and then 5, and they are off. And now who gets the better start off the line? It looks like it is going to be A-Dub, and by quite some margin as well. El Majacco getting around Dirty Boy Jackson, then he's going to switch back down to the inside. Couple cars collected there towards the back. El Majacco already up to second, hanging around the outside, and he's done quite well. Look at the pace that Prema driver has. Lancey retains third. Dirty Boy Jackson stays down in fourth. He's side by side with Jackson Altman. Around the right-hand side, contact being made, and it looks like we do have a virtual safety car on track as it is. I believe that being Ray 46, who's gone off then at the start. Nikki 64 involved. It's been quite the chaotic first section of race then. As Ray 46, I guess, leaving the session. Dirty Boy Jackson up towards fourth. I'm not sure what's happening here between Dirty Boy Jackson and Jackson Altman. That one's going to get confusing, I'm sure. We just look and see who's on what tire, softs and mediums on tap for you today. Remember, despite the tire compounds, both of them, realistically should go about to halfway through this race. I don't believe we have a full safety car. Jackson Altman now getting out of the... I'm confused as what's happening here between Dirty Boy Jackson and Jackson Altman. These two have been swapping positions under... I believe this is a virtual safety car. Yes, it is. Swapping positions under the virtual safety car for quite some time now. As you can see, a lot of them fiddling around with the Delta. Los Manigos and Mayhem tomorrow having a little bit of a spat then, it seemed. Only a couple drivers on the mediums, 6 to be exact. Killer XL, Josh Sr., Valentine, TDV Dutchman, Villeneuve, and Spaceman, the takers as far as that goes. Now, will they be on an advantage come the pit window? I'm not entirely sure. That it's a very big possibility that they don't. As green flag back in the air here, A-Dub does have the advantage. El Majacco in hot pursuit as well. A-Dub going quite wide through that section of the track. El Majacco might have a look here down into turn 16 and 17. He's going to go around the outside. Does he have it side by side for the lead then? Oh, and a car's gone off towards the back. That's a big one then. I believe Dirty Boy Jackson's actually flying down the order. What's happened with him? Either that or someone has gotten into contact then. Lancey's fallen back down to 11. Dirty Boy Jackson and his teammate of Killer XL side by side here, but it's Jackson Altman and Kate Thomas battling it out for the final podium position of P3, and El Majacco and A-Dub it's side by side for the lead as they now head into the S's. Very solid racing is here so far. A-Dub still within 0.2 of a second on Jacko. We have another car off towards the back. The entire circuit just went yellow then. I'm not quite sure what that was. Oh, another incident. Looks like Nikki 64 and Spaceman might have had an off. Bobbert Yates. Oh, someone's actually gone quite slow then. I'm not sure who that was. El Majacco and A-Dub still battling it out as they now head down towards turn 8 and 9. I do not know who actually has the advantage here. El Majacco out to the lead for now, but that doesn't quite mean much. Things can change in the blink of an eye here in F2, and A-Dub might just be the man to make that happen. He's creeping in on this championship battle ever so slightly. He's in third place. This one would certainly help him. More importantly, it would help Jacko, who at this point in time I believe could potentially take the lead of the championship past Dirty Boy Jackson after last week's race in Spain. These two made contact on the penultimate lap, I think. A-Dub still right there. Remember, no battery percentage in these F2 cars, no ERS deployment, so it really is just a battle of pure speed. Oh, Jackson Altman's had a slip there, and Kate Thomas sneaks into the third spot. A-Dub in that slipstream of El Majacco. DRS will be enabled next lap. And look at A-Dub has been struggling through 130R so far this race. That's the second time we've seen him kind of have a tricky go through that section of corner. Jackson Altman trying to work it to Dirty Boy Jackson here. Dirty Boy Jackson, mind you, has rebounded to P4. Killer XL wants in on this as well. Towards the back, Villeneuve and TDV Dutchman, the two teammates battling it out for position then. Looks like Shariah Coleslaw in the slipstream here of Josh Sr. Shariah Coleslaw is in fourth in the championship currently. He's going to look down to the inside. Nothing there at this moment in time. Meanwhile, A-Dub and Majacco still right next to each other for the lead of the Grand Prix within 0.4 of a second. It's been some very great racing all season. Actually sporting, I believe, the Lando Norris helmet is A-Dub. It looks like, oh, has Dirty Boy Jackson had an off then? Yes, he has. He's fallen down to 6th, and now under pressure from Dusty Lusky, who's going to try to send it around the right side. Interesting there, Dirty Boy Jackson. I remember him saying this before the race started, that he had not had any practice at this circuit so far. And I don't want to say it's showing, but he's down in 6th, and he's made a couple mistakes so far today, but he has been able to rebound, and that's the important question. Will he be able to do it now as they head into turns 10 and 11? Towards the front of the pack, it's still a 0.5 of a second gap between the leaders. A little bit of mixing about going on back. Oh, we got a car that's gone off. It looks like Spaceman. Now Lancey's looking down to get around Shariah Coleslaw here around the left side, perhaps. I don't think he's got enough room to make it happen this time by, although that move could be in the works very shortly. Very shortly as well, A-Dub, 0.3 of a second behind Majako. With the help of DRS, I'm assuming that this move is going to be made. Rounding 130R now. A-Dub taking it much more cleanly that time. They had to lift past the apex. He thought he was going to go wide, but he didn't. Looking to hunt down Majako. Ooh, he's gone heavy over that exit curve then. He's probably picked up a warning for that. However, he's nicely in the slipstream here of the Prema driver. He's going to look to the right side, perhaps, maybe to the left. He set the fastest lap as well. It's going to be side by side, heading towards turn number 1. Who is going to get the advantage into the first corner? And it looks like it is going to be A-Dub getting around the Prema of El Majako. Nicely done then. And remember, A-Dub has had a killer beginning into this season as well. He can I think with the win today, he can firmly cement himself as a championship contender. But he's going to need to keep it clean, and he's got one of the most experienced and successful F2 drivers of all time right behind him. Shariah Coleslaw then, very close then to Josh Senior. Meanwhile, Lancey's in on this battle as well. This will be for the 8th position. Very close battling all over the circuit here today. There's almost so much, I can't keep up with it. Dirty Boy Jackson's within a couple of tenths on his teammate. Ooh, yellow flag towards the back. It looks like Nikki64 has had to go around there. Shariah Coleslaw getting around Josh Senior. Josh Senior and Lancey, contact being made, and Lancey spun it around. He's lost a bit of his front wing as well. That was a bit of an odd. Collision then. I believe the two drivers we saw Josh Senior off to the inside of the circuit. And I believe he may have just under braking and trying to take the corner, ran up into the dams then. And that was very interesting collision then. Hopefully it doesn't result in a steward report. I'm not sure which way it would go. It's very, very tight call, that. Dusty Lusky now. He's within a 10th on Dirty Boy Jackson here for the 6th spot. He's going to look for it around the right-hand side. Will he be able to have it going through 130R? He's not going to try it around the outside, will he? I sure hope not, but he is. And I think he's ran out of real estate there, unfortunately. Will he try it going into the chicane? No, he won't. Meanwhile, battle for the lead still within 0.6 of a second. A-Dub fastest lap, but Jacko with DRS. 1/3 of the way through the Grand Prix now. Looks like Valentine, Mandigos, and Villeneuve battling it out there. That being for that 12th spot. Or perhaps it's Lancey. It's actually Lancey. My apologies. Looks like Mayhem, Tomorrow, and Josh Senior battling it out then through turn 1. Nicely done then for Mayhem to, I believe, I'm not sure if he got the position to defend it for it. I only just caught on to the back of that battle. Dusty Lusky, he's still trying to reel in Dirty Boy Jackson here. Dirty Boy Jackson's doing some great defending. And if we look at the... Oh, someone's gone off there. It's Mayhem Tomorrow's gone off. Oh, and he's ran right into traffic then. He's got into the path of Lancey, and Valentine for that matter as well. As Valentine lost any of his front wing, I don't know, but Mayhem has lost a considerable portion of his front wing, and if I were him, I'd be getting out of the way of this very shortly, as that car is going to be an absolute boat to drive now, not only under braking, but with turning as well. And all the while, this is going to be hurting Valentine. He's got the slow car ahead of him. Looks like Lancey to the back of Josh Senior. He's going to try it around the outside, going through turn 10 and 11. He's going to switch back down to the inside. I tell you what, that is some classic oval racing maneuver then. Very nicely done. From the dams of Lancey. His teammate, Los Mandigos, under pressure then from Villeneuve. But more importantly, oh, another car off towards the back. Valentine is retired. What has happened with Valentine? Oh, he's hit something quite heavy then, hasn't he? Has he hit another car? Has he hit a wall? He's off towards the middle of the circuit. I don't necessarily expect a safety car to come out here. He is, well, I've been made fully stupid on that one, haven't I? And unfortunately for A-Dub and Jacko, they have both passed the pit entry by the time the safety cars come out. Cake Thomas, Jackson Altman, Killer XL's just actually overtaken Jackson Altman to the pits there. That was quite neat. Shariah Kolsoff, 5-second penalty speeding into the pit lane. But what has happened there with Valentine? Double stack here for the ART team, as well as I would go ahead and assume pretty much every team is only, it would appear 5 drivers chose not to pit. A-Dub, Jacko, Villeneuve, Spaceman, and Ray 46, the only drivers of those who chose not to pit. Now that was a very interesting accident then for Valentine. I'm not entirely sure how that panned out, but while the safety car sorts itself out, I'll step aside. So the safety car on its way in this lap. Now A-Dub and Elma Jacko did pit under the second lap of the safety car when they were able to, so they are now down P11 and P12. Dirty Boy Jackson, crucially, 6th place, but even more, TDV Dutchman currently in the lead of the Grand Prix. Everyone else behind him, of course, have stopped, so the lead really in the hands of Killer XL. Mind you, Killer XL is also on some fresh, soft tires, as well as that is Josh Sr. and Villeneuve. A little bit of contact there between himself and Dusty Lusky, but we're back under green flag racing here. Jackson Altman's going to look to get around the left-hand side then, with Dirty Boy Jackson getting around Los Mendigos then, that being for the 5th spot. Jackson Altman right there against Dusty Lusky. In through turn number 1, Killer XL is going to be at a huge advantage here, being that the driver ahead of him has yet to pit and is also, of course, on the slower compound anyways, in case the first pit didn't matter. Jackson Altman right there, he's wanting that 3rd spot. He's so very close to making it happen. Oh! And TDV Dutchman's gone around, and that, I'm afraid, has come at a very costly time. And Jackson Altman now looking to the inside of Dusty Lusky for the 3rd spot. Killer XL suddenly has been handed the lead of this race. Side by side there, going through turns 8 and 9. That is a very close battle, side by side, wheel to wheel racing, you gotta love it. Looking back now, Elma Jacko and A-Dub, these two were battling for the lead a mere few laps ago. Ahead of them, Lancey's going to look to the outside of Bobber Yates. He's going to switch back down to the inside. Ahead of them, it's Josh Sr. and Mendigos were side by side. Mendigos has edged them out just for now. Yellow flag towards the back. Oh, and I believe, has it been TDV Dutchman again? Yes, it has. Something has happened there. Down to the inside goes Josh Sr. On Los Mendigos, I'm receiving word now. Monkey Mafia has officially won his first Midwest F1 race. Congratulations to him. Josh Sr. in hot pursuit here, right to the gearbox then of Los Mendigos ahead of him. It's going to be side by side through 130R. That's only going to end poorly. And no, Josh Sr. does, I think, take the high road through that and decides to back out of position. However, Dirty Boy Jackson and Cake Thomas swapping positions. Dirty Boy Jackson trying to switch back and forth between, to find a line. Oh, and Cake Thomas has suddenly spun around in towards the pit lane. He's going to have to come back on track safely. Man, that has not gone well for Cake Thomas. Oh, contact being made there. It's 3 wide between these two drivers. 3 wide between these three. Bobber Yates and A-Dub, something would happen with them, and they were side by side. Contact was made, and that's Bobber Yates around the outside of A-Dub then. Elma Jacko in hot pursuit, as he also sees this battle unfolding. Contact made there, rear front wing lost. Both drivers getting quite loose then. Elma Jacko held up by A-Dub, and through the middle then goes Mayhem Tomorrow up to P9. Very, very chaotic lap this is so far. Lancey now, I don't necessarily expect he's going to make a huge maneuver on his teammate here, although that'd be quite amazing if he did. Elma Jacko up to 8th now. Could have been more. Oh, TDV Dutchman, no! And he has gotten into it then with, I believe that is Josh Sr., and the safety car is out on track. Josh Sr. has had enough then. TDV Dutchman as well as Spaceman, multiple cars involved in that. And that has not gone to plan for anyone involved in TDV Dutchman. Was having a pretty okay day. Oh, well, Ray 46 just hit Spaceman then. And he's picked up 5 seconds for the collision with the vehicular carcass of Spaceman. Mendigos picked up a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. That's not gone well for him. That means we're going to have this safety car in about little to no time left remaining in this Grand Prix. I don't necessarily expect anyone to be pitting here, except for Los Mendigos naturally. But that was a very confusing incident to be had. I'm not entirely sure what the deal was then. We suddenly saw cars strewn all over the circuit and resulted in the DNF of Spaceman and Dutchman. I believe Shariah was involved. Cake Thomas fell back down to P14, although he was held considerably long in his pit stall waiting for I think, a safe release, really. Or maybe that, or he was the not the beneficiary in the double stack then for the high-tech team. But at the lead of the Grand Prix, it is Killer XL. He is missing a bit of that front wing as well. Dusty Lusky now in second. Jackson Altman third. Dirty Boy Jackson in fourth. Manigos will be fifth, but it will be Lancey being bumped up to fifth, considering that Manigos has the drive-through. So, as the safety car sorts itself out, I will step aside. So the safety car will be in this lap. Crucially, anyone out of the podium three at this moment in time have never won an F2 Grand Prix before. Killer XL, his best finish was third. Dusty Lusky, I believe, has finished second on numerous occasions. We are going to have laps 13, 14, and 15 of racing here. The final lap, lap 15, will feature DRS. So, are you ready? Killer XL saying that in the Discord chat under the safety car, he's on orange front wing. As you can see, it's not very good. That is going to result in some heavy straight line speed damages there. Jackson Altman and Dirty Boy Jackson side by side already. The race has only just started again, and Jackson Altman's going to look for it around Dusty Lusky here, to no avail though. Dirty Boy Jackson's going to sneak down to the inside, contact being made with the left rear tire. Big incident then. Oh, and Dirty Boy Jackson's gone off, and now he's falling down the order. And now suddenly it's Elma Jacko, Dirty Boy Jackson, and A-Dub all right with each other once again. That was huge contact from Jackson Altman onto Dirty Boy Jackson. Unbelievable things happening then. Elma Jacko now under pressure. Any advantage he can gain over Dirty Boy Jackson will certainly be a helpful one. Any advantage that A-Dub can have over the two of them will put him solidly in this championship fight. But he's got Lancey dead ahead. Manigos with a drive-through penalty up ahead of him. Side by side then for the battle of the lead. Dusty Lusky wants it round the outside. Mind you, Killer XL on the soft tires that for the majority of the time has been under safety car. Mayhem tomorrow getting around Elma Jacko. That's a way to make an overtake then around a two-time champion. I think at least 2 times, probably more. Killer XL right there on Dusty Lusky right there on Killer XL. Jonathan Jackson Altman wants in this battle as well. Manigos not far behind, although he does have the drive-through, so that will put him back at the end of the Grand Prix. In through 130R now. Jackson Altman really wants it on Dusty Lusky, but he's just not been able to find the pace. The two Dams teammates side by side then. Very close racing. Jackson Altman. Oh! And Jackson Altman has gotten into Dusty Lusky. Currently the man in second place. And now A-Dub. Right there. Oh, Manigos has gone around Elma Jacko. Coming back up, Lancey's picked up a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings, puts him up to 8. That promotes A-Dub up at least to 4th. He's got Dirty Boy Jackson right behind him. Elma Jacko kind of far enough behind. I think he's got caught up in somebody's mistake then, because he is now a second and a half between those two in that fight for what will eventually be the 4th spot. Los Manigos did take his drive-through penalty. Jackson Altman really close now to Dusty Lusky. Still nothing there, though, as far as making an overtake. Here's Villeneuve. Now he's going to want around Mayhem. Oh, Manigos is retired in the pits. Not good for him. I think perhaps he's found at least 50%. That's 90% rather, but that's not really the way you want to see a driver exit a race. Villeneuve, 3 seconds of time penalty for multiple warnings then. We do have a car that's gone off. It is Manigos exiting the pits after his AI went in. It's a bit confusing. Yellow flag in sector 1 and 2 then. A-Dub now pressuring Lancey. He's really got to get up to that fight for the win between Jackson Altman, Dusty Lusky, and Killer XL. He's got to at least put on a performance for the podium here. He's very close, but Lancey's in front of him, and Lancey's got pace despite that penalty. Shariah Coleslaw and Villeneuve. Oh, contact being made there! Right back into traffic. Shariah Coleslaw and Villeneuve. Contact was made then. Bobber Yates going to be moved up to 10th. Kate Thomas to 9th. But man, and Bobber Yates is DNF'd, as well as Dusty Lusky. Knowing what's happened with Dusty, he's found the wall. Going through 130R, and suddenly, Killer XL, all he's got behind him is Jackson Altman. DRS enabled, but it won't matter. Man, Dusty Lusky and Bobber Yates, the teammates, I think, coming together in harmonious DNFs. And what happened with Dusty? Did he try to go side by side with perhaps Jackson Altman through 130R? and he got into the wall. It's a possibility for sure. But Dusty Lusky, his first win, will have to wait, I'm afraid. As A-Dub, that puts him into the podium places now with the penalty, unless he gets challenged by Dirty Boy Jackson, which he's quite far behind. I'm not sure that move is going to be able to be made. Jackson Altman, 0.3 of a second away from the lead of the Grand Prix. Will he be able to find it here? Killer XL. Mayhem and Cake Thomas battling it out there for position. Now, mind you, Killer XL would rather win this race on track rather than have it come down to a steward penalty. Jackson Altman, it seems from what I've seen in the Discord chat, might have a steward report coming his way. But Killer XL now is only half a track away from his maiden win. Goodness gracious, this has been one hell of a Grand Prix so far. Drama left and right everywhere you look. Jackson Altman right there. Is he potentially going to have a go at this win? Killer XL blocking off the line. Smart maneuver that. Oh! And the lap car got in the way. Killer XL still has the bottom line. And that was the robot of Mandy Ghost then. Jackson Altman going around the outside. Look at this. Side by side for the lead. Contact made. Who's going to get the better go? Jackson Altman spins. He takes Lancey with him. A-Dub sneaks through. No, it is A-Dub that's going off. Killer XL taking the win of the Grand Prix. Dirty Boy Jackson second. A-Dub potentially in third. And Majako in fourth. And Majako picking up 5 seconds for an unserved penalty. What in the blue hell just happened? It was side by side between Jackson Altman and Killer XL. Jackson Altman went round, at least collected 2 other drivers. One of them, well, I'm not even sure. I could not tell you what just happened, but it is Killer XL claiming his maiden win. Well, anyways, Killer XL did take the win. Dirty Boy Jackson second. A-Dub in third. Mayhem tomorrow fourth. Josh Sr. fifth. Villeneuve sixth. El Majako seventh. Jackson Altman eighth. Cake Thomas in ninth. Shariah Coleslaw 10th. Nikki 64 11th. Ray 46 in 12th. 13th is Lancey. 14th Dusty Lusky. 15th Bobber Yates. 16th Mandigo. 17th Spaceman. 18th TDV Dutchman. Rounding out the field B19 is Valentine. And, well, next week we head to Bahrain. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to very much do some digesting at the end of that race. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week when we head to the desert.